I want to tell you about the most common reason people give for not studying English. I do not have time, not enough time, too busy, life is full, work is demanding, family needs attention. By the end of the day, there is nothing left. This reason feels completely true when you say it. It feels honest and realistic and like a simple description of your situation. But I want to ask you something. What did you do yesterday between waking up and arriving at work? What happened during your lunch break? What were you doing between 9 and 11 last night? Because the truth for most people is not that there is no time. The truth is that the time exists, scattered through the day in small pieces, and it is currently going somewhere else, not nowhere. Somewhere. Phone, television, scrolling, passive consumption of content that asks nothing of you and builds nothing in you. That time is real. It is already yours. You are already spending it. The question is not whether you have time. The question is what you are doing with the time you have. And the answer for most people is that there are 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there, a lunch break, a commute, an evening half hour that could easily, without dramatic sacrifice, be redirected. Not all of it, not every free moment, just some of it, a portion, enough. Today's story is about a young man named Younes. Younes said he had no time. He believed it completely until he looked honestly at where his time was actually going. This is his story. Meet Younes. Younes was 28 years old. He worked as a supervisor at a manufacturing facility. He managed a small team, coordinated shift schedules, tracked production targets, and communicated between the floor and the management office. The work was genuinely demanding. He started early and finished tired. He had one persistent goal that he had been carrying for 2 years: improve his English. The company was expanding internationally. The managers who could communicate with international partners and clients would have significantly better opportunities. Younes wanted to be one of those managers, but every time he had tried to study English, the same answer: no time. And on the surface, it seemed true. He woke up at 5:30. He was at work by 6:45. He left at 4. He came home, spent time with his family, ate dinner, and by 8:30 he was genuinely tired. Where was the time? His younger brother Tariq, visiting for a week, asked him one evening why he had not started yet. Younes explained: the early start, the demanding work, the tiredness, no time. Tariq listened. Then he asked a question that Younes had not expected. What Tariq asked, Tariq was 24 years old. He was studying at university and had the observational directness of someone who had not yet learned to soften uncomfortable observations. He said, "Yesterday evening, what did you do between 8 and 10?" Younes thought about it. "I watched television," he said. "I was tired." "For 2 hours?" "Yes." "And your phone, how much time do you spend on it in the morning before you leave for work?" Younes thought. "Getting up, checking messages, scrolling news, waiting for coffee. Maybe 30 minutes," he said. "And at lunch, at the facility, I eat. I check my phone, maybe half an hour." Tariq looked at him. "So yesterday," he said, "you had 2 hours of television, 30 minutes of morning phone, and 30 minutes of lunch phone. That is 3 hours." Younes looked at his brother. "I was tired," he said again. "I know," said Tariq. "I am not saying you should not rest. You work hard, you need rest." He paused. "But 3 hours is a lot of rest. What if 15 minutes of that, just 15, went to English?" Younes did not answer. "You do not need 3 hours a day to learn English," said Tariq. "You need 15 minutes every day. That is it." He looked at his brother calmly. "You have 15 minutes. You have always had 15 minutes, Steyer. You just have not pointed them at English yet." Lesson 1: Finding the 15 minutes. The next morning, Younes woke up at 5:30. He lay in bed for a moment, then he thought about what Tariq had said. 15 minutes. He picked up his phone, as he did every morning, but instead of opening the news app, he opened a free English learning platform he had downloaded months ago and never used. He did 15 minutes. Basic vocabulary, a short listening exercise. 3 practice sentences. He got up, made coffee, got ready for work. Nothing dramatic had changed. He was not suddenly fluent. The 15 minutes had been ordinary, but they had happened before anything else could take the time, before the morning became busy and the day arrived with its demands. He wrote a quick note on his phone. Monday, 5:45 a.m., 15 minutes. Done. At lunch, he stayed at his desk for 20 minutes instead of spending the whole break on his phone. He did another 10 minutes. 25 minutes total on a demanding working Monday. Not 3 hours, not two. 25 minutes. Redirected from time that had already existed and been going somewhere less useful. He thought about 2 years of telling himself he had no time. He had always had 25 minutes. He wrote in his notebook that evening, the time was always there. I just had not pointed it at English. Starting now. Daily English sentences. Repeat after me. I have 15 minutes. I always have had 15 minutes. The time exists. I pointed at English. Before the day arrives, before the demands, I study first. 25 minutes redirected from somewhere less useful. Simple. I write it down. Done. That matters. The time was always there. I just did not see it. 15 minutes every morning changes everything about the day. Lesson 2. The Time Audit. 1 week after his first morning session, Younes did something deliberately. He tracked his time for one full day, not to judge himself, just to see honestly where the time was going. He wrote down every activity and how long it took. Morning phone, 22 minutes. Commute to work, 35 minutes. Lunch break, 40 minutes. Commute home, 35 minutes. Evening television, 90 minutes. Evening phone, 45 minutes. Miscellaneous waiting for coffee, for meetings to start, for things to load, approximately 20 minutes. He added up the time that was genuinely discretionary, time that was not rest exactly, not sleep, not genuine physical recovery, but passive consumption, scrolling, watching, waiting. 4 hours and 17 minutes. He sat with that number, 4 hours and 17 minutes of time that was already his, already being spent, already going somewhere. He was not going to redirect all of it. Rest was real and necessary, and he respected that. But 30 minutes of that 4 hours and 17 minutes, 30 minutes redirected every single day, that was 730 hours of English study per year. 730 hours. He thought about what 730 hours of consistent English practice would build. He wrote in his notebook, time audit complete. 4 hours, 17 minutes discretionary. I redirect 30. That is 730 hours per year. The time was always there. Daily English sentences. Repeat after me. I track my time honestly. I see where it is going. 4 hours of discretionary time. I redirect 30 minutes, 730 hours per year from 30 daily minutes. I do not redirect everything, just a portion. That is enough. The math is clear. The time exists. I use it deliberately. Honest accounting of my time changes how I see my possibilities. I always had the time. Now I use it differently. Lesson 3. The commute sessions. 2 months into his morning sessions, Younes added something. The commute. 35 minutes each way. 70 minutes per day of travel time that had previously been spent on his phone or listening to music or sitting in silence. He downloaded an English audio course, lessons designed to be listened to without a screen. On the commute to work, one lesson. On the commute home, review of the morning's vocabulary. 70 minutes of commute time. Redirected. He now had 30 minutes of morning study plus 70 minutes of commute English, 100 minutes per day, not carved from rest, not taken from family time, not sacrificed from genuine recovery. Found. Redirected. Pointed at something that built something. After 2 months of the combined morning and commute practice, his English had moved noticeably. His vocabulary was significantly wider. He was following English audio content at natural speed with much better comprehension. He had started reading English news articles at lunch. Another 15 minutes of commute time redirected. He thought about the version of himself 2 months ago. the one who had said no time for 2 years. That person had had the same 24 hours, the same commute, the same morning, the same evenings, just pointed differently. He wrote in his notebook, commute sessions added, 100 minutes per day total, 2 months, visible progress, same 24 hours, different direction. Daily English sentences, repeat after me. The commute is study time, 70 minutes every day, 100 minutes of English. Found, not created. Same 24 hours as before. Different direction. I listen on the way to work, I review on the way home. Nothing sacrificed, everything redirected. 2 months of found time built visible progress. I had the time. I just needed to point it right. Lesson 4, 6 months. What the found time built. 6 months after Tariq's question, Younes sat in a meeting. His facility manager had arranged a video call with representatives from an international partner company. 2 people on the other end of the call. English only. The manager had looked at Younes before the call and said, "You have been improving your English. I want you on this call." Younes joined the call. The international representative spoke clearly. A standard speed, professional vocabulary that his 6 months of commute and morning study had given him access to. He followed everything. When a question was directed at him about production capacity and scheduling, he answered clearly, specifically, in one sentence followed by a second. The representatives nodded and moved on. After the call, his manager said, "Good. That was useful." 3 words, ordinary and significant. Younes thought about the time audit, about 4 hours and 17 minutes of discretionary time, about the 30 minutes redirected, about the commute sessions, about Tariq's question, what if 15 minutes of that went to English? 6 months of found time had built this, not found from nowhere, found from where it had already been, flowing through his days without building anything. Redirected. He wrote in his notebook, 6 months. International call today. Understood everything. Answered clearly. Manager said good. Found time built this. He looked at the notebook. Then he planned tomorrow morning's session. Daily English sentences. Repeat after me. 6 months of found time built this international call. I understood everything. I answered clearly. Found time did that. Good. 3 words from my manager. 6 months earned them. The time was always there. I pointed it right. It worked. Found time builds real things when directed at real goals. Tomorrow's session is already planned. The direction continues. I had the time. I always had the time. Now I use it well. Final words. The time is already yours. Younes's story is simple. He said he had no time for 2 years. He believed it completely. His brother asked one question. What did you do between 8 and 10 last night? And Younes saw, clearly, uncomfortably, usefully, that the time existed, not in large blocks, in small pieces scattered through the day, going somewhere. So, just not toward English. He redirected 30 minutes. 6 months later, an international call handled clearly. Maybe you say the same thing. No time. Too busy. Life is full. I want to ask you the same question Tariq asked Younes. What did you do yesterday between 8 and 10? What happened during your commute? What did you do with the 30 minutes after dinner? The time is there, in small pieces. In the commute and the lunch break and the morning phone and the evening half hour, you do not need 3 hours. You need 15 minutes, pointed deliberately every day. That is all. Because 15 minutes every day is 91 hours per year, and 91 hours of consistent, daily pointed English practice builds something genuinely significant. The time is already yours. You are already spending it. The only question is, what is it building? See you in the next one. Stay calm, stay consistent, and use the time you already have.